Hi guys, we add traffic to the Frogger game and we start that after the fade. So let's start animating the frog. Where are we? Goal view. Okay, so we're going to have a private int frame equals 0, private float count equals 0, private that would be private read-only float duration equals, so the animation duration is going to be like blink of 1 second. Yeah, let's make it 1 second. Probably not going to be anymore. Needs to be blink duration. I mean, I don't want it to flash. I don't want it to be like Hypnocode. So that's going to be cooldown. That would be cooldown period. And then this is going to be flash period. That's going to be 0.1. So it's just going to blink. And we need to know what state it's in. So I'm going to create enum I state open closed. Okay. So we don't have, this is going to be this is the wrong place to put this, of course. This is inside, well, we need the frame, we need the count. So that's going to be public int, int frame, set, and that's all we're going to put in there. So frame is going to be blah, 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 and then instead of 10, it's going to be 10 plus frame, because it's either going to be 0 or it's going to be 1. And then inside our controller, so if we go to goal controller, now we could put it inside here, or we could create another controller, and then all it does is handle the animation. So maybe we want to do that rather than having to clutter it in here. So let's do add class, and then we'll call this home animation controller. Okay, and that is an I controller, and that implements that. Public home animation controller, and it's going to take in the same one as these. I'm just going to put that there just now. So it's going to take in, it doesn't need to know about player model, it does need to know about the goal container model, and it does need to know, that's about it actually, it just needs to know about the goals, and then we'll add private read-only goals, and add that there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have a private float timer equals 0, and private I state equals I state dot open. Do we need to know? Well, okay, let's keep it in just now. Maybe we don't need to know that. So what I'm going to do is let's do private float current cooldown equals cooldown period. Oh, I can't do that kind of. Current cooldown equals cooldown period. Okay, and the current state is open. So I'm going to say timer plus equals delta time divided by duration. Duration, well, it's going to be, yeah, okay, sorry. Plus equals delta time. If timer is greater than current cooldown, so if it's greater than the current cooldown, that means that that period has expired. And then I need to check to see what one it is, and then change the values appropriately. So I'm going to do timer, timer current timer, timer greater than current cooldown. We're going to say timer equals timer minus current cooldown. So we're going to reset the timer to that value. We're then going to say if state equals istate dot open. Let's figure that out in just a sec. So now we need to determine what frame it's on. Yeah, that's okay. So we can do int, let's do var frame equals 0, and then we can say if state equals open, state equals closed, else state equals istate.open. And then we can combine that into one, and we can say if it's open, we make it istate.closed, istate.open. So if it's open, we make it closed, and if it's closed, we make it open. And then we say if state equals open. So we're moving into this new state. We're going to say frame equals 1. Why am I not liking that? Well, it's going to be used in a sec. And then what we want to do is we want to always draw that there. So current cooldown. Oh yeah, we also need to do for new cooldown equals cooldown period. Okay. So if it's in the open state, new cooldown has to equal the flash period. So hopefully this is making sense. So you're going to have a second, and it's going to go blink, and then it's going to be a second again, and it's going to do a blink, if that makes sense. That's really what I'm trying to get here. And then I'm going to do for each var goal in goals dot goals goal dot frame do not have that in goal view. Oh, it's goal view, that's why. I need to do that in model. Models, goal model, and we're going to say frame equals 0 in there, and then that's going to be goal dot frame. Okay, so goal dot frame is going to be in there, and that way there's no properties here. It's just doing the view, and then inside the controller we're going to say goal.frame equals whatever the current frame is, and that's it. So we only ever change it. Oh yeah, we need to change the current cooldown. period to that. So we're going to do current cooldown equals new cooldown. And so that should flash the eyes. But we need to add it to our game state. So we go to game state. Where's game state? States. Game state. So now we need to add that to controllers.add new home animation controller goals. And we build that. Hopefully that'll work. And then once we've done that, I want to get some animation, well, not animation, but I want to get some dynamic things going on here. So I'm going to start doing the road, and then if that goes well, then we'll move on to the waterway in this video. And if not, if something happens, I don't want to do like a 4-hour video, so I'll leave it otherwise. Okay, so I'm going to add one to there. It is blinking. I'm not convinced it's a great blink though. There's a preview. Content. Let's do open with. Where are you? Paint on it. Right, well, that's opening up. I think it's because it needs to. Yeah, I think it's just because it's too fast. I think if we make it half a second, it'll probably look better. So if we go back to the controller here, so home animation controller, and then change that to 5, so it's half a second. And maybe we'll make the period between the cooldown a little bit slower. Come on. Compiling it takes the time, isn't it? I think we're missing some blocks here. It seems we are. I think we are. Yeah, we're definitely missing some blocks. Okay, let's see what the animation looks like. There you go. Although it works the first time and not the second time. So let's just figure that one out. Alright, so what went wrong? So I think the problem is it's not resetting this part here. So else new cooldown. I think it is resetting that part there. Equals flash period. State equals state. Yeah, maybe because it's inside this here, it should be inside here. I think. So if it's there, then we're going to flip the state. So if the state is open, we're going to say the frame is 1 and the new cooldown is flash period. Okay. and then the current cooldown is going to be the new cooldown. Okay, and then when it comes back in again, it should do that. So it'll wait for a second, flash for half a second, and then yeah, that should fix it. We just need to wait for it to compile now. All right. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So I think probably half a second is probably too. Sorry, a second is probably too quick. So let's make that 2. So the cooldown period is 2, and then the flash period is half a second. All right, that should fix that. Goal view, that's that one done. Okay, so now let's get in the bulldozers. Now there are, if we go back to this one here, there are actually 4 bulldozers, but in the first level, the third one is missing. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's only ever 4 on screen at any one time. So I want to figure out how we can get 4 here. So obviously we need to have positions. We need to update those positions. So there's only a dozer there. So what we might have to do is have just basically a moving object thing. So I'm going to create a vehicle, vehicle, controller, which means I need a vehicle view, and I also need a vehicle model. And I'm going to try and abstract this as much as possible. So I'm going to say public vector to position, public vehicle model, vector to pause, position equals pause, and that's the initial position, and we also want the frame as well. So we want to do public int frame get. Actually, we just need to do get, don't we? Because we're never going to change this. Frame equals frame. And we can get rid of all of that. So when we create a vehicle model, we're going to specify the start position, the frame, and the vehicle model. And then in the view, we obviously pass in the vehicle model, the list of vehicle models, and that list will then determine what frame is going to be shown. The controller is going to handle the updates. Okay. All right. Where are we? Vehicle model. I want to be able to. I'm going to put in 4 just now. 4 bulldozers, and then we'll figure out how we can not have 4 bulldozers. If we go back to here, so you see we've got this gap here where it should be, but I'm going to set it off so that it's at this. That's the starting position. I know it's not true to the actual game, but I think that's good enough. So that is, let's say that's 16 pixels in there, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so vehicle controller, that is going to need vehicle controller, and then we're going to need models. So we also need to have add class, and this is going to be vehicle row model. there. Vehicle row model, private list, vehicle model, models equals new models, public vehicle row model, and then this is going to be a list of models. So it's going to be enumerable vehicle model models for each var m in models. Actually, I think I can do models.add range models. That solves that. And shoot, that needs to be models get that. That. Okay, so we have our models and we set that up, and then we add all the models to there. I mean, what we could do is we could have that as enumerable, and then let's just leave it just now. Okay, so vehicle row, model row, and then we bring that in there, and then the factory. I don't want to put it inside the vehicle controller, so I think I'm going to create another. Let me create another folder here called factories. Factory. What do I call them? Yeah, factories. Add class Bulldozer factory. So this is going to be a static class, and I'm going to create the first level. So let's say we have like 10 levels. I don't think there is 10 levels, so let's do public static enumerator enumerable vehicle model, create first stage, vehicle model, models equals new models, return models. So I'm just going to hard code it because it's our game and we can do what we want. So I'm going to say models.add new vehicle model, and then it's going to be at this position down here. So that's going to be what do we got? Well, let's find out. We can run the game, or at least we can run the game once we compile it, and then we can find out what the Y value is because we have our debug in there. So that's kind of handy. And we can also figure out the start X value as well, and also the start Y value, which is what we're trying to figure out here just now. Sorry, this bit's a bit slow. Hopefully it'll pick up. I'm hoping it'll go smoother than this. But compilation takes so long. Come on. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get a bit of paper here. And so the Y value is going to be 208. 208. And then the start is going to be here, which is 8. Or do we want to make it at 16? Let's make it at 16. Okay. All right. So then we're going to do, oops. New vector 2 16,208. Oh yeah, it's frame. And the frame is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. That. Okay. And then we're doing another one, and then it is every 1, 2, 3, so 45 pixels on from that. So that is 16. It's more than that, isn't it? It's 4. So 48. No, it's 48. 16. No, 64, isn't it? So 16 plus 64. And again, I'm just going to do this to keep the math a little bit easy. Oops. And then that's going to be plus 64. So it has those two there, but it doesn't have this one here. So I'm going to do Control C for that one, because that one's missing. And then this one is going to be 128. And then that's going to be 128 plus 64. Okay. So that's the Bulldozer factory. And then in the views, vehicle view, I'm going to say public vehicle view, vehicle row model, row equals row, private read only, row. And so this is going to be very similar to our base view. So we're going to add all the stuff that we need for base view, and that needs to have generate that constructor. So we need this here. So I take this out here and put that in here. Okay, and then I take that out and I put in row equals row. And get rid of this one here. So that doesn't work. Okay, and then in the draw, let's get rid of these unused usings. And then in draw, I'm just going to say for each var vehicle in row dot public, and then let's call this vehicles. Row dot vehicles. That kind of works actually. We want to say, actually we want the blocks in here as well, don't we? So if we go back to our background view, no, we want player view. Let's go grab that. And then inside here we do that. And player view. Grab that, and we do the same thing in here. That there, and then we can do blocks.draw vehicle.position vehicle.frame color.white. Color.white. Okay. Okay. And then in our game state, we're going to go back up to here, and so we're going to have var vehicle. This is going to be bulldozers. Dozer controller equals new vehicle controller. But for vehicle controller, we need to know the model. So we need to do public vehicle controller, and then we need to know vehicle row model. Row. Private read only vehicle model row. Oh, this gets tedious after a while. Equals row, and that's all we need for that just now. So we need to do var bulldozer row model equals new vehicle row model, and then we need the list of models, so we're going to do bulldozer factory dot create first stage. Okay, hopefully this is making sense somewhat, and then we put that inside there, and then we do views. Oh yeah, we need to do controllers dot add bulldozer controller, and then views dot add new it's going to be vehicle view state machine dot game dot content sprite batch, and then we need bulldozer row model. Why did it not like that? Oh yeah, because I need to do controller, implement that. Okay, so we've just added 3 new classes for vehicles. So we're going to use this all over there. So we're going to, I think we should tidy this up and create some kind of data for this rather than having it in code. I don't think it's a good idea. I think we need to figure something out there. Even if it's like a kind of XML format or something, or even just a JSON file format. It's just something that we can change on the fly. Unfortunately, it does require a recompile because it's MonoGame, but hopefully it won't take that long compared to doing a full build, which is what's happening just now. Anyway, just have to wait. Just have to be patient. So what is going to happen though is we should get the bulldozer to appear on screen. But let's go back and check and make sure everything's okay. So vehicle view, it draws all the vehicles at that position. Vehicle controller doesn't do anything. Vehicle row model doesn't really do anything. And create first stage creates those vehicle models at that position. Okay. Now, the where are we? Okay. So I do this here. Okay. So there we go. There's our first control. So does that look similar to this? Yeah, I think that does. I think that looks every bit as close to this. Okay, that's good. So what we need to do now is we need to get the bulldozer, although the y coordinate's actually wrong. It's actually should be 16 less than that, but we can fix that. So if we go to our factory, bulldozer factory, so instead of 208, it's going to be 192. 192, 192, 192. Okay. So that is going to be our factory for that. For the speed, we're going to have to we need to remember the initial positions for the rows. So it's going to be the back position. Oof. How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? I think what we need to do is we need to draw them again, but to the left, and then that way we constantly like reset the values. So it works. So basically this part here, this is going to scroll, and then when this point here gets to the end of the screen, we then shift it to the 0th mark. So instead of having it as I'm trying to think how we can do this inside my head. Well, we know the screen width. The screen width is what? Frogger game. Screen width is 224. Okay. So if we say it is 224 less than that, and then we do one that's 224 plus that, and then we make it continuous, then that way, let's do vehicle view. So we can do that there, and then we can do blocks.draw vehicle.position vehicle.frame color.white, and we're going to do that at minus new vector 2, and then it's going to be 224, 0, because that's going to be 224 pixels that way. So that's going to draw the row twice. It's going to draw the on-screen version, and then it's going to draw one that's over but off the screen to the left-hand side. So when we do scroll, it'll make sense. So instead of the vehicle position changing, what we need to do is we need to do an offset from there. So that is going to be the vehicle row model needs to have an offset. Public vector2 offset get set. Offset equals vector2 dot 0. So we have this position plus vector2 dot row dot offset, and then this one, it doesn't really matter, plus row dot offset. So again, we're offsetting it, so we're only actually changing the row version, and then when the row gets to there, we just shift it back. I think that'll work. Actually, it's going to need to be offset 1 and offset 2, isn't it? I think it's going to be offset, we call it right, and then offset left. Let's call it that, and then we can do offset right. Right equals that, and then offset left vector2 dot new vector2 minus 2240, which is the same thing that we have. And then in the controller, where's the vehicle controller? So I'm just going to hard code this just now. Private float pixels per okay. Let's say distance var distance equals, and then it's 16 pixels per second. 16 pixels times delta time. So however far we've traveled in that amount of time, and then we're going to say that's going to be an integer value there, which probably means we're never going to change it. Let's leave it as this just now so we can just get the thing moving. And then row dot offset left plus equals new vector 2, and then it's going to be distance comma 0, row dot offset right plus equals new vector 2 distance comma 0. Okay, and let's do the right one first. So if we run this now, we should have, it should go at 16 pixels per second. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to get a certain amount of drift in there because again, it's not pixel perfect, and we can solve that in just a sec. But this is going to give us a continual one, so we should end up, so although we have only 3 models on the screen, we should actually see 6 models going by. So 6 representations of the bulldozer. Okay. So we run this. There we go. Oh, that one's going backwards. You can see it's pixel perfect as well, so I don't want that. Maybe that's not working. Offset left. Vehicle model. Oh, minus. Should be plus, that's why. Okay. So that's going to be var, and then to make it in a pixel, we're going to have that would be x right equals vehicle dot position plus row dot offset right, var pos right equals new vector 2 int xr dot x int xr dot y, and that will clamp, that will make it snap to the pixel. And then we'll do the same thing for the left-hand side. So we'll get XL, offset left, pause left even, and that equals XL, pause left. Okay. And then that'll clamp it. So the model itself maintains the exact pixel, so you're going to get fractional pixels there. But the view does a little bit of logic and says, well, actually, what we want to do is we want to snap to a particular pixel. So that's gonna work nicely in our favor. Eventually, when it compiles. So it makes these videos longer. Sorry about this. I will never again complain about Unity compile times. What else we got? We got the car as well, so we can get the car done. Okay. There's a little bit of a no gap there. So this is the second lot coming in now. Or that was the second lot coming in. Okay. So we can say if offset right dot x is greater than greater than or equal to 224, which is the width of the screen, which is never going to change, so we can leave it as that. Then I want to say var new x equals offset right minus 224 dot x minus 224 minus 224, because I want it to be negative 224. And then I want to say offset right equals new vector 2 new x comma offset right dot y, so whatever the y coordinate is. And then the same thing for offset left. And so now let's speed it up just a little bit. Let's have it as a controller. Just missed it there. Let's make it 32 times that. Okay, so now we should just have a continuous stream of bulldozers. Should do, but we don't. Why? Controller. Oh, where did I put that? Oh, that's why. If I maybe put it in the right place, it would have worked. Okay. So that would be row. Maybe row offset left. Okay. And then we also want to make it so it's offset by whatever the distance is. So models, and then we need to do offset distance equals that. So whatever the offset distance is, so by default it's going to be 0, but we're going to make that 48 so that it fits in with our scheme of things. Actually, it should be 64, shouldn't it? So we go to our Bulldozer factory. No. Yeah, inside here. The row model offset distance is 64. So we want to make that 64 away from wherever it is. So maybe we need to record that somewhere. Public vector 2 offset distance. Float offset distance equals offset distance. And that needs to be taken into consideration inside the controller as well. So if it's that, then it's going to be that minus row dot offset distance. Okay, so now we'll get a continuous stream, and it should be equidistant from each other. Or at least the rotation should be equidistant from each other. It also means, though, as well, that we only ever have 3 models in memory at once. So we've only got 3 models in memory, even though we actually have 6 things. And we could get even cleverer, and we could just not display the ones that aren't on screen. So here we go. So there's that big gap, small gap. No, see, still doing that. Weird gap there. Do you know why? It's because if that becomes that, I have to do that for each one of these. So that's got to be that as well, that's why. Whoopsies. Okay. Because the right then becomes the left, if that makes sense. So you have, let me draw this. You have, what's a good example? I don't have anything here. You basically have 2 things like that, and then you're drawing them. You can see this. You're drawing them, and then when it gets to this point, you flip that out. So this one becomes the end one. And then as you move across to that one, that becomes the end one. And you're kind of doing this all the time. So that there's always going to be one on screen at any one time. That's the idea, anyway. If that makes at all sense. I don't know if it does. That's what I'm trying to do with all this crazy math that's going on here. Whew. Okay. Also gives me a bit of time to explain these things, I suppose. I wish we'd hurry up. So once we have all this done, we can now we can add the little race car as well. So the little race car is in the opposite way. So we can change vehicle, I guess, to go the opposite way. So that'll be fun. So a little race car. Yeah, a little. Oh, he's flipped, isn't he? Well, that's a little bit of a complication, but nothing we can't solve. We are missing a lot of these. We need to add some more. Not a problem. Okay, so that's big gap, small gap, big gap. Nope, still too small a gap. I feel like Frogger though. No, dead. What if, I think the problem is we have that middle one missing and it's difficult to see. It should be, if we do the full one, so we go to Bulldozer Factory and we do the full one here, then we should see a continuous stream. And also I think I'm making the math more complicated than it should be in here. But I want to get it right so that I can reuse it for the other things that I want to do. So so I also want to pass in float pixels per second equals 32. So let's default to that. Private read only. Pixels per second, and then we go and grab that there. Okay. So pixels per second is defaulting to that. And we'll rebuild. Wonder if I can get it to not compile the assets every single time. Yeah, see, there's a bit of a gap there. Is it because I've got? Is it because I'm doing 64, or is it because I'm doing 48? What did I say that was? Row offset distance. No, it is 64. Make it 48. Come on. Vehicle controller, offset there, offset left. Yeah, definitely think I'm making this more complicated than it should be. So if I don't have anything in here, so if I just do a return, so all I do is I set up the initial position. I should have 4 equidistant from each other, if I've set it up correctly. I can close this just now. Close that one there. Yeah, that's the first stage. So it's 1, 2, 3. So that's. But we're at this point. We're drawing at this point here. So that's 16, 32, 64, 32, 48, 64. So the next one should be that point, which means that this gap here is twice the distance as this one, or at least it looks that way anyway. Okay, so those are the same distance apart. So all I want to do is I want to draw those ones that are here. I want to draw them here as well. And then I want to shift them along a bit at the same time. So when I get to that point, I'm drawing them again. How do I make this more complicated? So that's 16 there. So it should be another. So sorry, I need to use my fingers with this one. Okay, so that's that one there. So I need to do 1, 2, 3. So is it 3? So I'm already there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it should be 4, which is 64. All right. I'm going to pause the video here rather than me wasting your time. I'm going to figure this out, and we'll rewrite this because it's a bit too complicated for what I want it to do. So I'll pause the video and I'll come back in just a sec. Okay, I'm overcomplicating this. Okay, I'm going to make a copy of this for now. Okay, and then this one here, I just want to move it to -224. I don't want to subtract any more than that from it. So the offset right is going to be negative that. Yeah, it's going to be minus. Sorry, it's going to be -224, and then the right is going to be that. Huh. That does seem right actually. So it's going from whatever the position is at x. So if it's 224, it's subtracting that plus the offset distance, which is going to bring it back to 0, and then -224. So let's see what that brings that out at. So this should be it coming up now. Okay, so offset right is currently 224 point blah 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 blah. So the new one is negative whatever it is. Negative yeah, okay. So why are we getting this anomalous double entry here? I think, is it because of this, the offset distance here? So if I go to the model, vehicle model, -224 plus the offset distance. So the offset distance is that. So we're still subtracting that there. Mu x is that. So what if we just make that 0 just now? So instead of 48, we just make it 0. Is that going to bunch those two bulldozers together? Because if so, wait, I made that 48, didn't I? That should be 64. Dope. Okay. Maybe I'm not over indulging. I just got that number wrong, that offset distance. Come on, there we go. There you go. No, still there. Actually, do you know what the issue is? The issue is I am overcomplicating it. What if you took this out here? So the offset right is always going to be at that position. Yeah. So we're just subtracting that, but then again, it's not. Yeah, still, that's even worse. Yeah, it's like they're kind of doubling up. So what if we did? Let's see. Okay, we can actually debug this. So if we go to vehicle view, and then go to color red, color blue, we can actually see what's happening here. Because I think what's happening is that the two are actually drifting out from each other. And I'm sure this is an easy fix, and I'm trying to make a complicated situation from something that should be relatively straightforward. Come on. Oh dear. 0 to 2 to 4. Okay, so those are the red ones. There's the blue ones, and then at this point we'll start seeing red and blue mixed together. Yeah. So what's happening is that the red one should be shifted back more. So let's go back up to vehicle controller. So if we shift that back by 2, that could work. Seems a bit of a hack. Also, it seems like I'm guessing. Mostly because it is that I'm guessing. I should just be sitting working this out mathematically. I mean, the offset itself is okay. So I have two values there, but I don't want. Can I draw this in Paint or something? Let me do 800 by 600. Okay, let me do a really bad crude drawing here. Okay, so if I do a rectangle, so we have 2 screens. Okay, oops. So these are the 2 screens here. Now, in each screen we have we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, there's a gap there of 16 pixels between the next one, and so when we move this one back over to here, we need to take that into consideration. And I think what's happening is that they are slowly drifting out of sequence. So now the blues are mixed in with the reds, instead of the reds mixed in with the blues. Cancel. So yes, that's what's happening, and we can see that just by looking at it, you can see straight away, if I run this again, that the reds are not mixing. That should be the same distance as that one there. So I think that one's easy to fix because that row distance should be 45. 48. So I think I was right there. But twice the distance doesn't make sense either because that feels like it's going to drift out of control more. So that's 48. And then now they're catching up. So now the next turn, the reds are going to be mixed in with the blues. Yep, there you go. Because they're ever so slightly out of sync. And so that's what I need to figure out. So the next time round, the blues and the reds are going to be even more entwined. Yeah, in fact, there's so much entwined, they're actually overwriting each other. And now they'll be overtaking them. I can see what's happening. There you go. And so the next time round, there will be a red and then 4 blues. Because we draw the blues on top of the reds. So now we've got red and then blue. Oh, we've got red, blue, red, blue. Okay, so that's what's happening. More debugging. Okay, I'm going to try and explain what happened there. So before I stopped the recording there, I said that I was overcomplicating it, and I knew what I was trying to do, but I knew I was also trying to the way my approach was a difficult one, or was the wrong one, to be honest. So I need to do the 2 offsets here, but I only need to do 1 offset. Now I'm going to show you using the debug what actually happens, but basically as we move these 2 along here, we actually flip out. When this one reaches the border, the edge of the screen, it flips positions with this one, and this one moves positions back slightly offset based on where this is in space. So if it's like 32 pixels there, then it moves this one 32 pixels further in. And what happens is we end up with, it's an overlap, but it's an overlap that works because it moves the vehicles into the position that they're expected to be in. So when I show you this, you'll see one continuous thing, but notice that the red car, which is the rightmost one, then we get the blue car, and then when it gets to the edge of the screen, the red cars, we swap those ones out with the blue ones. And then similarly, we do the same thing with the blue ones. When they come back, they get swapped out for the red ones around about here. And so it's just one continuous thing. So everything's all working now, which is the good thing. Okay. All right. So there's that car there. So that's the first car. The second car is actually it's going to be The next row up is going to be that one, and then the next one up from that. So the next one up is the car that goes that way, and then the other one is the white racing car that goes that way. Now the white racing car that goes that way, there's only one of them, but it goes really fast. So that'll be an interesting one to bring in. Why does this keep stalling? Okay. Okay. So when we go 1, 2, and then not this one, but this one, so the y is 160. Y equals 160. Okay. And if we go to the view for this one, vehicle view, change that back to white, change that back to white, and then in our game state, we're going to add another, so that's the Bulldozer one. So we're going to add another collection here, and this is going to be our racing car row model, and this is going to be racing car factory, create first stage. There is going to be 0 offset from this one. And I'm going to create a factory over here, so add class racing car factory dot cs. I'm just going to borrow this one here, because why not? Static, and that's that there. And instead of 7, it is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So it's going to be 6. And instead of 192, it's going to be 160. And get rid of these. And if you go back to our game state, that is racing car controller. That one there. Controller is equal to that, and then that's that to there. And then we want our racing car row model there. Now we could actually, in theory, just have a view model for all the rows, and maybe we'll do that. It's up to you how you split up your model view controllers. Yeah, we might do that to tidy it up. But in the meantime, what am I missing? Oh yeah, I also want to do the speed here. So the speed is in the controller, I think, comma, and then pixels per second, which defaults to 32. So I'm going to make this one 128. So it's going to be 128 pixels per second, which is 4 times as fast as the Bulldozer. So the Bulldozer should be relatively slow compared to the racing car. Okay. So there you go. There's our racing car. Okay, so you see we've got a racing car there. And so we're starting to get a little bit of a Frogger game going here. And obviously there's a little bit of a pause between there. So what do we need to do? We need to add like a cooldown period in there. So that's going to be float cooldown equals -1. So if the cooldown is less than 1, then we don't have one. So private read only float cooldown equals cooldown. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to say if there's a cooldown, we're going to put you into the cooldown period. So we'll do private read only float current cooldown equals that. So I'm going to say if cooldown is greater than 0, current cooldown equals cooldown. That should be a float. And then we're going to say if current cooldown is greater than 0, current cooldown minus equals delta time, return current cooldown equals 0. And so that's the controller. We also want to say public bool is cooling down, get set, and then say row dot is cooling down equals true, and set that to be false up here. And then inside vehicle row, we're going to say if row is cooling down, return. So we're not going to display anything unless we're going to be drawing something. And then in game state, we're going to do the racing car model. So that's only going to ever appear every 2 seconds. Okay. Thinking about it. Just really thinking about it. Really thinking about it. It's not thinking about it fast enough. Why is it not thinking about it fast enough? It just takes a little bit of time to rebuild this, and it doesn't seem to work on the first time. Okay, so now the racing car should go, and then it should wait. So we got a bit of a flash there. Actually, I think we should have another one here. So so we can have vehicle ghost, no ghost. So if I go to here, this can be inside the model. So I go to here and then do add class vehicle ghost. Enum ghost, no ghost. Actually, you tend to do the -1 first because that means 0. I'll explain what I'm doing here. So if there's no ghost, then we don't want to draw the second row. So I go to vehicle view and then say, let's get rid of that one there. and say if row dot public vehicle ghost get set. So the row vehicle row model. So we need to do vehicle ghost equals vehicle ghost dot ghost. Ghost equals ghost. And that should break something. So let's go to here, and it's not in vehicle controller. It is in it should be the other way around then, shouldn't it? Because we're going to use that. We're more likely to change the offset distance than we are the ghost. So let's change that to there, and then change this to 0, and then ghost, no ghost. So there's no ghost for this one. So that means that the vehicle will then do vroom, and then it will not draw anything else after that. And then it'll wait 2 seconds or whatever, whatever distance, whatever cooldown period it is, and then it will then display that. So the vroom. It's still drawing the second one. Vehicle ghost, no ghost. Ghost equals ghost. Vehicle view, draw. Oh, that's why. If row dot ghost equals ghost, draw a ghost. So we're only going to ghost that second repeating group if we have that. Now the racing cars come in like pairs of 2s and 3s, so they don't ever loop, or when they do loop, they wait a second. So I think this is fine what we have logically. Okay. There we go, and in 2 seconds. Okay. Let's see if we can play Frogger with this guy, and I get killed. Okay, so that's the two directions there, but there's actually 3 that are heading in that direction. So we need to do those ones next. Now, in this one, the car is heading that direction there. So that's the middle lane, which I think is the one up from the Bulldozer. So it's the next lane up from the Bulldozer, which is at 176. Okay. 176. Okay, so we're doing exactly the same thing, this is where the idea of like factories and data comes into, is because this is basically just a repeat of this previous one. So instead of that, we just got let's call that Sedan car row. Sedan controller, racing car controller, racing car view model, and then we need a add class Sedan car factory. And that's going to look pretty similar to our racing car factory. Static, and that one there. And this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 8. Now the difference is that we're heading the other direction. So this is 224, so that's 208. 208, comma 176. And again, get rid of these. Okay. So that's 208 along because it's 224 minus 16. So that would be, yeah, 1, yeah. Now the vehicle controller needs to know the direction. So I'm going to add float let me think. I want to do this as cleanly as possible. Okay, vehicle controller, where are we? Vehicle controller, controller, add class, and then it's going to be an enum, but we'll call it an enum, and then it's going to be vehicle direction. And it's going to be left to right is the default, and then the other one is right to left. It's technically not a vehicle because we'll be using it for other things, but we'll call it vehicle direction. I don't mind if you don't mind. And so we're going to put down cooldown in there, and vehicle direction equals, and then we'll default it left to right. I kind of want to put it, cooldown is going to be far less frequent than changing the vehicle direction. And this is going to be private, read only, vehicle direction equals direction. Okay. And then I'm going to say if direction equals right to left, distance times equals -1. So I'm going to move it that direction instead of that direction. And then I'm going to say math dot absolute that, oops. So if the math is absolute, then I want to know the sign. So I'm going to say var sign equals direction equals left to right. That's going to be 1 minus 1. So it's either going to be 1 or -1, and then I'm going to say that times sign. So if we're going that way, we're going to end up going that way, and if we go that way, we end up going that way. Times sign. And we can add brackets around here just to make sure, but bed mass and all that kind of stuff, it should figure it out, but let's just force it into there. And that should mean that we can now have cars going that direction. So go to vehicle controller, game state. So the Sedan is now got and we don't need a cooldown, but we do need vehicle direction dot right to left, and then this one here we need vehicle direction dot left to right, because we're going left to right with that car and we're going right to left with this one. And that does have a ghost. Offset distance, I think we're okay with that one. The cooldown. Oh, cooldown is that. Cooldown. Cooldown, vehicle controller. Pretty sure it is used, but okay. I don't know why it's saying cooldowns. The other issue is we need to, in the vehicle view, oh no, I think we're okay. Plus offset right, plus offset left. Okay, let's see if this works as intended. Am I doing this right? Offset right minus, and then whatever that is, times sine. So it could be whatever the right is, offset left times sine. Okay, I think that's right. Okay, moment of truth. I broke it. Current cooldown greater than 0. It's not greater than 0. Cooldown -1. Vehicle view. Vehicle direction. Game state. Let me take out this and the Bulldozer, and then let's go into here and find out why the racing car is not running now. So cooldown is not that. Am I missing something here? Okay, so if I bring back Bulldozer, Oh, wait. Ah, that's why. Racing car role model, that should be sedan car model, that's why. Car model. Okay. Right. I've been at this for a while. But hopefully at the end of this video we'll have traffic moving and that should be good. And the only problem is that we need that vehicle controller. I think we need it to be on multiple vehicle rows. So instead of just having one row, it actually controls a whole bunch of rows. And the reason why I think that is because, and the same thing for the view, I think it makes collision detection easier. Okay, so that is, so the racing car is working. That's good. So still no sedan car. So let's debug the sedan car. And then after we debug the sedan car, that fixes everything that we need to fix for our left to right. Okay, so we do that. So the offset for this is going to be heading in that direction. So the distance is 0. So distance is -2. Okay, so offset right is negative that way. Okay. And so in the vehicle view, our position is 0, 0, 0 plus that. So our position is going to be -59, 0, 160. Vehicle position is 0, 160. What? Did I make a mistake? Oh, wait. That's why. I know why. Because that's sedan car factory. Okay, so the sedan car factory should be pointing that direction. Ugh. Come on. Here we go. So it should point that direction. Oh, it's going 120 as well. That's not going to be good. Yeah, it's stuck at that position there. That's okay. So, what is this sedan? So there's 3 sedans. Oh, it goes at the same speed as the Bulldozer. Okay. So, it's just that it's offset from 8. Okay. Okay, sedan car factory. All right. So, game state. So that's going to be 32. Is that, no, wait. What is that going to same speed as? Okay, so that's traveling at that speed. And then it gets stuck there. All right. So the start. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so the problem is with the controller. Nope. Where's the controller? So if it gets to there, it then resets it back to the leftmost edge. So the offset is going to be that one. So offset left is going to be that. And offset left is going to be, see, it's minus 224, so that can't be right. So offset left times direction equals left to right. It's going to be 1 minus 1. So that needs to be that. Oh, no, not that way, that way. So we're going to multiply. I'm just shortcutting this because it's rather than just putting in sine equals whatever. So it's just going to multiply that out. And so the offset left is going to be the negative, but it's going to be positive because it's going the other direction. And so that should stop that doing that judder thing. But it will make it jump because we only have, well, no, we have two. Yeah, should be fine. We just have one car going like that. So we'll have 4 cars doing that in just a sec. Eventually. I wonder if it needs to rebuild every single time. Build, help about. Exit. Yeah. There's no option to ignore building it. Okay, so here's our little slow car. And alright, so that see where this is putting this. So it should swap it round. So the car should end up on the left hand side. On the right hand side, I should say. So over here, diff is that. So the offset right is negative 244. The offset left is not right. And then offset left is going to be negative 224. What is going on here? That's why. Okay. Okay. So direction is not being set. It defaults to left to right. So it goes, oh, the direction is left to right. So it doesn't do the right calculation. So run it. And it should end up over this side here. Oh my God, I just wanted something to go right. Come on. Come on, there we go. Offset left is still negative, whatever the heck it is. What's direction? Direction is right to left. Offset left is 224. You know what, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say -2 here. So it's going to multiply it by -2, which means it's going to offset it well to the right hand side. Now, why is offset right? The offset left should be offset left. But offset left is not being set in there, is it? Offset left is being set in here. So offset left should be set to offset screen, shouldn't it? This is a bit of a hack. So let's do hack, make sure that offset left is starting in the right position. Row.offset left equals that. So row.offset left is equal to the off screen depending on where that off screen is. So if you've got the row and you're heading that direction, then the offset should be over here. And if you've got a row that's heading that direction, the offset should be here, so that when we do the left hand side part of it, it does that kind of and then flip around like that. Oof, I hope that makes sense. Here's a little tiny slow car. Come on, little tiny car. Okay. So now row offset left is 223, which is right. Okay. And here it comes. So it is working, albeit slowly. Is there a cooldown? Have I got a cooldown on this? No, it's just really slow. Okay, let's go to the Sedan factory and then do that minus minus 48 minus 48 minus 48, whatever those values are. The TV's really loud, sorry. I need to get padding or something in here. White padding. Okay, here's our cars here. Yeah, it's not coming in there. Can you guess what program it is they're listening to upstairs? Yeah, it's like there isn't. Oh, because the ghost is not set. I bet that's why. Alright, now the theme music stopped. So go back to game state, and then the controller here, vehicle direction is that, and then that's there, Vehicle ghost equals ghost. So it's doing ghost. Vehicle ghost is ghost. Okay. So that's right. So why is it not doubling it up? Okay, one more. Blah 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 blah, and it's going to get to the end here and stop. But the offset left is that I don't know why, because I stupidly multiplied that by 2. That should just be -1. That's why, because what's happening is instead of being, that's the edge of the screen there, instead of being at the edge of the screen, it's way over here. So by the time it gets to here, it resets, and yeah. So this should now fill in the blanks, so to speak. So we should start seeing cars coming off the other edge there. That's right. Yep, so that's it flipping now. And so I guess that's not 48, so if it's Sedan factory, that'd be 64, 64, 64, okay. Which is probably about right. Actually, now that we've got these back, we can now go back to our game state and we can uncomment these. And now we can rebuild. And then we should have a bunch of roads. Okay. There we go. I think we need to work out the offset for those sedan cars. Ooh, I'm dead. But other than that, start to feel a bit like Frogger. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing for the other ones there. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a vehicle controller instead of that. Pixels per second, 32. Vehicle direction left to right, cooldown. I'm going to take all of these properties and put them inside the row model. I'm going to do that just now. I'm not going to do it on camera, but I'll tell you what I am going to do. I mean, does it matter? I mean, I could do it in camera. It just means that I'm not really talking. So I want the controller to control multiple view models. Now the view model itself has, this controller contains a lot of properties that actually belong in this view model. So I'm going to take all these properties here and put them inside that vehicle row model. And then I'm going to take in an enumeration of vehicle row models. And that will mean that this can control the movement, and then we can control the constructor, the collisions, reactions, all that kind of stuff. So that is the plan. So what I'm going to do is take these values here and take them and put them inside here, which I think is probably got quite a lot of things here. So this is going to be public float. Vehicle direction. So let's do models, ghost. Okay. equal direction equals direction left to right. So that's going to be public vehicle direction get set. Direction equals direction. So that's that one done. And then speed is going to be pixels per second, so that's going to be public float speed get set. So that's going to be 32, default that, so that's going to be speed equals pixels per second. Current cooldown, so that's going to be public float current cooldown get set, public float cooldown period get set. So float cooldown period equals that, and we don't need the current cooldown, don't need that, and then off screen starting point get set. Point. We kind of need that. We don't know where that's going, so we need that. Starting point equals starting point. Okay, so all of that is inside our vehicle row model. So in here, we don't need any of this stuff. The difference is we want to say row.offset left equals row dot should be public. Starting point equals that row dot starting point, and that's going to be row dot direction, and that's that. I don't need any of that. List that's generic rows equal rows, and range rows for each var row in rows. Boom. So we fix up each one of these rows, wherever those rows are, and so now we do for each var row in rows dot that. Now we could have a row model. It's true, but I'm not going to bother with that for now. Again, it could change. It's going to change all this. Row is cooling down. Row dot current cooldown equals row dot cooldown period. Row dot starting point. Row dot direction. Row dot direction. Row dot speed. Row dot current cooldown. Boom. Here we go. Okay. So that is vehicle controller sorted. So it's going to take in a list of rows, and for each one of those rows, it's going to go through it, and it's going to change the value of the direction of the, the position in there, and so forth, and such like, and so forth. All right. So now we've got our controller there. Don't need that. Racing car controller. Let's take, oh, heck. Wait a minute. So we need 32. So we need starting point. Eesh. Uh-oh. What is the starting point? Darn it. I deleted all that stuff and I should have kept it. Whoops. Well, there's an easy way to do it. If you do Control C and then you go to Sublime, and do that, you can undo everything. Off screen, what was off screen? So off screen is actually calculated by the okay, so I really just need to pass those values in there, so I don't need that, so I'm going to do Control A, Control V, bring that back in there, and then for the model, where's the offset distance? Offset distance is going to be that. Starting point I don't need because that's actually calculated. So don't need that. I don't need the models. So controller, don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. So for the model, I do need to pass in offset distance is 0, which is the default one, and then pixels per second is 128. No ghost, that's right, and that's our row model for that one. We don't need that. Don't need that. We don't need that. We will need them in a second, but we just don't need them just now. And then this one here is fine. This one here is fine. This one here is fine. Okay. So now we need to do var vehicle controller equals new vehicle vehicle controller, and then it takes in new vehicle row model, and that takes in Bulldozer, racing car, and Sedan car row model. And you could fit that all in one line, but we'll leave that just now, and we can get rid of these commented out lines once we've compiled this, made sure everything's running okay. It helps if you then do controllers.add vehicle controller. So it was updating it, just not setting it, just not updating it. Come on. Okay. There we go. Although those vehicles are going in the wrong direction, that's okay. So I can go to Sedan car there, and then pixels per second is 32. Vehicle ghost is ghost. Direction is right to left. And I can build it. So all of those pieces of information should have been in the row model to start with. It's just that I hadn't put them in the start model. Come on. Let's do this again. Okay. So that car should be going in the other direction. There we go. Okay. Oh, cooldown period for that racing car is wrong. No ghost. Left to right. Cooldown period is 2. So we're giving you 2-second grace period when it gets to the end there. Okay. There we go. Sometimes during mono behavior, if you break the build, it why? Why was the Sedan car? That makes no sense. Why would the Sedan car? Okay. So if I take out the other ones, okay, so I go back to here and I take out these comments because I don't need them anymore. And I take out the other ones here and these here, and I just have the Sedan, does that mean it's going to do that pause thing? Vehicle ghost, right to left. It should default to cooldown period. Oh, wait. Cooldown period, yeah. And then in the controller, it checks to see if the cooldown period is greater than 0. Okay, so this should not pause. And if it does, what? Huh? So if we go back to here, it's the racing car model. Is that pausing everything after that? It is. I see. So if we go to vehicle controller, that should be continue instead of return, because it's bombing out of the update. So the other ones work. The first, the Bulldozer works because it's the first one, but any subsequent rows wouldn't get processed because it just returns right out of there. Whereas with the continue, it's going to move on to the next item in the list. So now those cars shouldn't stop. There you go. Okay. Okay. So let's add those cars to the top and bottom there. So that is 208 and 144. Okay. So just for quickness, let's do this. Where's our Sedan? Factory Sedan. Float, and this is going to be y equals 176. Y. Okay. So that's that there, Sedan car factory, and then vehicle controller is there, game state is there. So that is this one here. So we also need to do the same thing for the views as well. Okay, so that's going to be row 2. And we'll call that row 3. That's going to be 3 there, 3 there, 2 there, 2 there. And the factory, we're going to pass in 208 and 144. And then we need to pass in that and that. So we need to do the same thing for our view as well, because our view should take in a list of the view models, because it's not really doing anything. It's just, I mean, it might as well do all the cars. So now we should have a full highway. Okay. All right. Okay. So they're going in unison there. We can easily mix that up. Float offset x equals 0. X plus that, and then go back to here and then choose let's choose -8 and -12. We'll see what that does. Breaks it probably. And we can vary the speed as well. So instead of 32, it can be 16, that kind of thing. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, collision detection, I think. So if we go to our, where are we, our goal. So our vehicle container needs to take in our player model. And it also needs to take in the player controller as well, but as an iReset. Maybe it doesn't even need the player model, actually. Did I have that in the player? If I go back to the controller for goal controller, yeah, I did. Okay. So we need player model, player, iReset, reset. So then we have player equals player, reset equals reset. And generate field, read-only field, generate. Okay. Okay. All right. Update. And then we want to do this for all vehicles in here. So we want to say, where's our goal controller? So player area is this. For each var vehicle in row.vehicles, var vehicle rectangle equals new rectangle, vehicle dot position, comma, new point 16, 16, because that's what size they are. What's it complaining about here? Oh, okay. Point that one, x, dot y. Oh, it's probably going to complain about this as well. Int. And then we want to say if our rect dot intersects player area, reset dot reset test mode death. So if you touch a car, you're going to die. And again, we might not want to pass in player controller. We want to pass in some other higher order thing. So if I if I hit a car, I'm not hitting a car just now. I think I know what's wrong. So the point is not the point. The point is, yeah, okay, let's leave that for another video. Offset needs to be taken into consideration. Okay. In the meantime, let's do that view thing that I wanted to do. So vehicle view, where are we? Vehicle view. So this is going to be an list rows equals new rows. Enumerable rows dot add range rows, and then here it's going to be for each var row in rows, and again this is going to be row continue, because we're not returning out of this, we want to just continue. And let's say row your boat gently down the stream, draw all that there, and then inside here we're not adding multiple views, we're going to be adding multiple models. Okay, so that's going to be, oops, views. So now we've got bar vehicle view equals new vehicle view, state game content manager, sprite batch, new vehicle role models, and then it's going to be Bulldozer. Actually, we can just add them straight away. So if we do this one here, and then we do that. And instead of semicolons, we do commas. And views.add vehicle view. What was he complaining about? Doesn't like something. What have I done? Oh yeah, that's why. It has to be separate models. Alright, let's just go back to where we were. Alright, that was me trying to be clever, and of course, being clever does not get you anywhere quickly. Okay, so let's do this instead. On there. There we go. Okay. So we're going to view models, blah, 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 blah. We probably should tidy this up a little bit more. This should fix code bloat a little bit anyway. And then I'm going to end the video there. After this compile. Yeah, right. Oh, it fixed it real good. Because I never added the views, that's why. Okay, so views dot add vehicle view and rebuild. That was quite quick. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna end the video there. Yeah, so what have we got? What did we do? We got the bottom half of the game done. So I'm not going to bother you with the top half. No, maybe I will. I'm going to fix up the bottom half so it looks like the video game. So it looks like the original game. But I'll do that off camera. But it's what's here is here. It's just a data issue now. And so rather than having to go through what the data looks like, I will do that by myself. So it'll all be fixed up. I'll do this video. Actually, yeah, I'll post this video. I'll post this code up for the video. Then I'll do like a 4a, and then the 4a will be the additional differences. So if you go to release/video-4a, this is going to be release/video-4. So 4a will contain this sort of updated data. But yeah, this is getting quite out of hand, this constructor here. So I think what we need to do is we need to create either a factory for each of these, or at the very least like pass in a level or something, and then try and figure out how we can like create this from data rather than having to do this all the time. Like the background view, score view, player view, all that kind of stuff, that should just be, we should be able to just create like a factory, and then that all handles that. So anyway, there shouldn't be this much code in here. We've got like 100 lines of code just now, and I think it's a bit too much. But yeah, we'll tidy that up there. In fact, I'll just remove that just now while we're talking. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down. If you've got this far and you haven't subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. Hit the red button, notification bell, and all that kind of stuff. And also, if you wouldn't mind, if you could share it on social media as well, so Twitter, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. It really does help the channel, and I very much appreciate it. So yeah, until next time, I will catch you in the next video. Bye bye.